Hi there, it's Dr. Nadia. Welcome to another episode of Straight Talk About Sales. And today I want to chat about having the courage to trust your gut. One of the things that I've been doing quite a bit this year is being on a guest on podcasts. I've been doing quite a few podcast interviews, and I'm often asked about, different tips or strategies around, having these powerful, courageous conversations and having the ability to enroll clients and clients that you're excited to work with. And one of the things that just came to me recently that I don't even know I've talked about it enough, to be honest. If I'm truly honest, if you hear a podcast interview and you're like, Dr. Nadia, you didn't talk about that, I'm admitted that I've probably not talked about it enough. But in that, one of the things that I don't think I talk about enough is the secret, if you will, of trusting your gut. I feel like, there are many times when we have been um, taught or encouraged to ignore the knowing inside, whether that's within a sales conversation. So you're having a sales conversation, and you're like, something is not quite right. Or even when you're putting together your products, your packages, your pricing, like really trusting the knowing in your gut and going through the process, whatever that looks like for you, of really getting clear on that, because that makes a huge difference in how things go, whether it's within a sales conversation or overall experience for both you and your client. Should they say yes, right? You want them to say yes when they are the right fit. And I was just thinking about this, having the courage to really do so. And sometimes maybe admit, this isn't quite going the way I want it to go. I remember several years ago when we shifted the business and we launched the agency, and it kind of shifted the focus, and we're focusing on sales. I gave myself permission to just experiment. Like I didn't put so much pressure on myself to know all the answers going into this agency. At the time, there was no one in my immediate circle that I was working with that even knew, like, what the heck are you building, Dr. Nadia? And I was like, I don't know. I have a nudge, I have a knowing, I had support from people that were like, this is something you really should consider doing. For people I trusted, I had my counsel. And so I embarked on this journey, but I gave myself permission to experiment, which means we're going to try it and see what works. And I think we need more of that, right? More of that within our businesses, but then also, again, trusting our guts. So I want to share a story with you because this is a real time. This is real life, right? Um, at the end of last year, I enrolled in a new mastermind. Super excited about the coach. I knew exactly what I wanted to learn, but I was more clear on what I wanted to shift in my business. And so I went through the onboarding process. We had our first call together, and we were talking about, like what would the overall strategy look like that I would kind of be working towards for the next year or so. And in that conversation, I was so focused on what I didn't want to do that I really wasn't tuned into what I did want to do, which partly was what I don't want to do either. It was different from this, what I don't want to do, but it was still something I didn't want to do. And part of that was having an actual mastermind over 12 months. Um, it's just not my jam. At least not right now. I don't know if it ever will be again, but that's just it. But in our conversation as part of our strategy, guess what? Nodding your head down. Let's launch a mastermind, right? Because in that moment, I was so like, I gotta get away from this, that I wasn't open to what else could be possible other than that. And I was looking at the numbers. I was like, that makes sense. Let's try it. So fast forward, right? We're at the beginning of the year, and I made some shifts because, again, me and my trusty calculator, oh my goodness. So she had issued a challenge. I was like, oh my gosh. I looked at the numbers and I was like, well, in order to even come close to achieving this, I need to shift some things, which meant that I needed to now sell this mastermind that I didn't want to have. And I was going through the motions and it just wasn't. This is another tip, like be excited about what you're trying to sell, because I wasn't excited. It was falling it was going over like a lead balloon. Like it was a extra hot mess. And in the final hour, as we're preparing, to really put this out, I'd had some behind the scenes, but it wasn't like this big public thing. I reached out to one of the members on my implementation team, and I was like, you know what? I don't want to sell this. I just don't. So we shifted some things and we went and we decided to, sell the Convert Lab. I'm so excited about Convert Lab. I'm so clear on how I want it to look and how I want to serve. But more importantly, how I want people to, what I want them to walk away with and be armed with so they can start to create their revenue quickly, not take 12 months to do so, and just move forward. It's more in alignment with me and who I am, my personality, but then also I know it's going to get my clients great results and they can move on to really doing other things in their business to help grow and scale if that's what they desire to do. So we made the shift and it felt so much better, right? Like everything was starting to really fall into place in multiple areas. I was like, oh my gosh, why didn't I do this sooner? So shortly after that, we had our quarterly mastermind retreat, and I was talking to my coach, and I was like, so we need to look at my strategy overall because I don't want to do this. And she was like, Nadia, why didn't you tell me you didn't want to do that? Like, why? Why didn't you say something sooner? I'm not married to these ideas that I throw out. Like, we could, whatever we need to do, let's shift it. Let's make it because, and exactly what she said to me, which was I already knew, was if you're not excited about it, if you don't want to do it, guess what? You are not going to sell it. And here's the thing, my gut knew, I knew for months I had been wrestling with this, like, should I do it? Should I not? Should I do it? Should I not? And, so just learning to trust your gut, not just in those sales conversations. I'm sure we all have what I would like to call interesting client experiences, right? Wink, wink. Where we didn't trust our guts, right? And had we gone with what our gut said early on in that conversation, many times before we even said yes and sent them the agreement to sign up, right? We knew that something wasn't quite right. And so this is one of the things that I just wanted to encourage you to really trust your gut, even in the times when it doesn't always make sense, even when you're because Lord knows me and this calculator, even when the calculator, right, is like it should be this, but not necessarily that. Trusting your gut and trusting that everything will work out fine. And then just the other night, I was talking to one of my longtime friends and colleagues, Nikita, and I was telling her about this experience, and she started cracking up. She was like, girl, you don't like masterminds. Like, I like to be in them, but I don't want to be the one to lead one for 12 months. Like, that is just, I don't know. Y'all just, we'll figure it out one day or not. That's just not my thing. But again, learning to trust your gut, but it also having your girls to be like, girl, what were you doing? Why didn't you call me? Because I could have helped snap you out of that far sooner than you wandering around the mulberry bush trying to figure some things out on your own. So again, trust your gut, know yourself, honor yourself, and leveraging that in your business because that is definitely one of those kind of secret weapons that will help you not only, enroll clients, but it will also help you and your clients have an amazing experience because now you're working with those right fit clients, but you're also selling, right? Those programs, products, and services that are definitely also in alignment and yet still yield powerful results. So, lesson learned, Dr. Nadia, I got my head back on straight. We're looking at strategy. My calculator's still here. Although, I'm like, okay, we got to balance the numbers and the knowing, right? And then leverage both to move our businesses forward. So, again, let me know what you think about what are some ways that you trusted your gut or didn't, right? I want to hear your stories because I have plenty, but I only shared one of the most recent ones. But how do you see this as also being that secret weapon that you can really leverage? I don't know if I like the word weapon, but anywho, squirrel, focus, Nadia. That secret sauce or that secret thing that you really leverage as you move forward in growing your business and taking your business to the heights that you would like to take it to. So this is another episode of Straight Talk About Sales with Dr. Nadia. Thank you for joining. I'll see you again soon. Bye-bye.